Yes, it's working. We have liftoff. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of the Chronicles of Fanfic. And this is a special episode because we are doing it in teams this time. This is my very special friend, Chloe Towan. Have I said that right? Towan?
Yes, Towan.
I'm just going to call her Chloe. How you doing, Chloe?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so much better now. We've worked out this little split-screeny nonsense. So,
we're masters of industry, masters of technology.
Yeah, it's a miracle I know how to operate the light switch. So what will we be reading today?
Well, I've requested that we read one of my favorite bad fan fictions. It is called Kelly the Roman Warrior by the author King Arthur II.
I think you'll actually find that's King Arthur too. I wonder if that's intentional. Like it's more like Arthur. Maybe they
you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Also, just before we begin, anyone watching this, I'll just say we apologize if the quality is not quite what it could be. We are both doing this on our phones because we're nice and low tech. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna tag team this. It might get a bit messy, but hey, it's all good fun, and I'm sure this is going to be hilarious. Just to illustrate that point, on fanfiction.net, this can be found in the Lord of the Rings Twilight crossover section.
Pretty cool. And just to clarify, I have read this before, but Luke has not. So
yes, this is my first time in, so we'll see. Also, here's my own little rule. If you got him, crack him. Okay, we are ready. Chloe, why don't you start us off?
Yes. All right, let's set the scene. Chapter 1, Kelly and the Fires. It was 2,000 years in the past in Roman, and there was a girl, and her name was Kelly Mariana Caesar Johnson, and she was 19 years old. She had bulk hair down to her waist and a perfect face, and wore a Roman armor and sword and helmet made of gold and silver, and it was cost a lot of money. She lived in a big Roman house with pillars and everything, and her father was rich, and he was the Caesar, and he owned all the houses for hundreds miles around, and he had thousands of Roman dollars and what they used in 2,000 years ago. Her mother was dead. She was killed in an invasion 1 year after Kelly was born. It was very sad, and then her dad wanted her to be like a girl and not to fight in the war. Read Kelly's dialogue.
I want to fight in war, she said, but father said, no, you must not. What happened if you dead as well? I would cry for years. And then Kelly was unset. Father is wrong. I will find a way to go to the war. I must fight for Romans, she whispered to herself as she went out the room.
All right. The next morning, Kelly was woke up in the house by a butler who was her dad's slave.
Is that supposed to be like a dad friend, but he's also a slave, so he can't disobey you? It's a novel concept.
Yeah, daddy's slave.
Oh, not a daddy slave. Oh, I already know what that is.
Oh.
Anyway.
The butler was her dad's slave. He did not abuse his slaves, though, because that is mean. Anyway.
I will have slaves, but I will not abuse them. That's mean.
Anyway, she got out of bed and looked around, and the bolter said, "The house is on fire!"
Oh no! Screamed Kells. That is her nickname. I must save my dad from the flames. And so she ran to her dad's his bedroom to look for him, but he was gone.
She looked out of window and saw a gigant monster in Roman town. It was wrecking all the houses. It breathed fire and had evil claw that dropped with blood, and its eyes were red and skin was black as a drac knight.
Oh no, Godzilla has attacked. Godzilla in Rome. I knew this day would come. The army was too weak to stop him coming to our land. I must get my armor and weapons. And she ran to the armor place for where it was kept.
She gotted her golden armor and helmet and also her father's magic sword and shield, and she also took a bow and arrow and then run outside to the stables. Instead, she finds her friend Elkus. He was a magic ghost deer, like the Patronus deer from Harry Potter and the Holy Grail / Goblet of Fire.
Sorry, what?
And also
Harry
he could
Potter
talk.
and the Holy Grail. Yeah, that's totally what it was called.
And also he could talk.
Nicholas, come with me. Godzilla is attacking our land. We must escape. And so Elkus said,
Forsooth, my lady, I will carry you. He talks like old time, like in an old-timey book we read at school one time. Anyway, Kelly got onto Elkus and they ridded away from Roman.
I must find my father, but Godzilla is too powerful for me and Elkus too faggot. But I will come back, she cried loudly into the sunsight as the night began to fall. Heavy stuff. The fall of Rome was an inside job. It was actually Godzilla. It wasn't the barbarians. This is known. Okay, chapter 2. A meeting in the Drac. They had one job. Okay. In the night, Elkus and Kelly walked for many hours. That's hours without an H, so it's like, many hours, until they came to a small hut in the road. It was made of wood and sticks, and there was a light from the top of it. So Kelly got off and went to knock on the door for see who was in it owned the hut. Fuck, that was a sentence. Knock, knock, hello, is anyone there? She muttered, but no one answered.
Elkus said, "It looks like no one is there." But the door opened. It was a small woman with wrinkled face and a cloak, and she said,
Who is it?
I think this is Kelly now.
It is, sorry. Yeah, man, I'm like Troy Baker up in this shit. Okay. Hello, I'm from Roman. Our town was attacked by Godeslia. I was the only survivor, but I have no place to sleep. All right, you can come inside, said the woman.
What do you want me to go?
Yes.
Inside the hut was dark, and the corner was afire, and it flickered spookily on the walls. There was an old table with herb on and some chairs, and Kelly and the woman sat down, and Elkus sat on the floor.
Hello, Kelly, and welcome to my hut, said the woman. How did you know my name? Explained Kells. I am very wise. I can see into the future and the past and the present, and I know everything. Oh, well, this is just like me talking to myself. Oh, wow, maybe you can tell me where is my father. He was in the house when attacked, but I know he is still alive. I can try to see where he is, but I will need spectral ingredients for the spell. They're very rare. Okay, I can get them for you. What do you need? Would you like to tag in here?
All right, I'll be the old lady. I will need an ogre brain from the Cave of Skulls on Mount Teribel, a bag of gold dust from the mines in the desert in the west, a cup of blood from a vampire at Dracula's castle, and one final ingredient. It is a it is a rare plant from the Junagels.
Ah, yes, the Junagels. Okay. Okay, I can find them. I must know where my father is, shouted Kells, and she put the saddle back on Elkus.
I think this is me. Here, I have a map of the 4 places you must go,
said the woman mysteriously. Thank you, and so Kelly got back on Elkus, and they rode off to the Dracula castle. So it's your classic fetch quest. Anyone who's played Legend of Zelda will know exactly what's going to happen. All right, Chloe, would you like to take us into chapter 3?
Yeah. This is chapter 3, The Road to Dracula Castle.
Can I just say, the title of this chapter is spelled completely correct. I'm really impressed. Progress. All right. Growth. It's just nice to see. Anyway.
All right. On the map, Dracula Castle was to the north, in grow the snow mountains and the winter forest, and so they set off. The air was cold and Kells shivered.
I wish I had packed my fur cloaks, she said.
After a few hours, they had made to the bottom of the mountains, and it was very windy, and snow blew into their faces hard.
This way, there is no time for rest. I must find my father, yellowed Kelly. And so they went on into cold snow.
In the winter forest, it was also dark and cold, and Spocky, Elkus, and Kells could hear howling of snow wolves, the most dangerous animal in the world.
You literally have Godzilla destroying her. But the snow wolves are the most dangerous animals in the world.
Really?
This is great. This is the story of the year.
Great. You haven't even met all the other characters yet. You wait.
Oh, I bet.
Then they saw some paws in the snow, and Kelly got off Elkus for closer look.
Oh no, it is the paws of snow wolves, screamed Kells, and then a white shape leapt out of tree. It was a snow wolf.
Quickly draws her magic sword from her father and shouted,
Father, give me strength of Caesar. I can slay the snow wolves with your strength.
Then 3 more snow wolves came out of the forest, and it was a battle for the death. Kelly stripped a snow wolf hard in the back, and it bleeded all over the snow and turned into blood red cola. Elkus head booted a snow wolf with his powerful alterners, but it was not enough. 4 snow wolves were coming out of the trees, and Kelly thought she was going to die.
Shit.
Intense. A snow wolf knocked her down and into the cold blood snow and started to claw her body with sharp claws. It was about to be all over. She had filed her farther, but then the wolf started to bleed and fell down dead with a crossbow bolt in its back.
Wow. Good. They are all dead, said a cold voice. And who is this pathetic girl who could not stop a pack of snow wolves? Kelly looked up and saw an old man with pale skin and fangs, and he wore a drac cape. And Kells recognized it was Dracula of Dracula's castle. Hello, Dracula. Thank you for saving me from snow wolves. I am Kelly, and this is Elkus. We were looking for your castle, but you are here instead. Yes, I am. It is a long story, said Dracula angrily. Come with me, and I will tell you everything. And so Dracula took them into a small ruined camp and lighted a fire with magic vampire powers. Now I will explain, mentioned Dracula. I gotta say, Chloe, it was touch and go for a second there. I thought she was a goner.
That's what I love about this fic, just the intense action scenes.
It keeps you going. It keeps you... This is more, nail-biting than something really good. Sorry, beer brain. Okay. I had a bit to do at the end there. Would you like to open us up into chapter 4?
Okay. Now, Dracula is one of the main characters. So do you mind if I start reading for him?
That is fine. I will handle everything else.
Right, so this is chapter 4, True Bell at Castel Dracula.
And everything in this sentence is misspelled, so, the good times were good. But they're gone.
At the camp, Dracula sat down and exclaimed, I was in my castle one day with the other vampires, drinking some blood, and I heard a knock on the door, and it was a stupid-looking man, and he's saying his name was Edward Cullen. He said he was a vampire, so I let him in, but he didn't look like a vampire, just a normal teenage boy. It was okay at first, But he gave all my other vampires a book to read, and it was some ruby called Flight. And then the other vampires got annoyed with me and said, we cannot kill the humans no more, they are friends. Even if they attacked us first, the book says so. And they got all sparkly. They were not proper vampires anymore. They lost magic vampire powers, so I left.
Ugh, that sounds awful, said Kells. Vampires are supposed to be very power.
Yes, and now I am the only real vampire left. Mention Dracula. I was come here for a cup of blood from the castle for... Oh, wait, no, that's not me. That's you.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. I totally thought that as well. Sorry. I was come here for a cup of blood from the castle for safe. My father... Baby, we cold go together. I could help get rid of this horrible Edward, mentioned Kelly.
Good idea. If you do, I will give you the blood, shouted Dracula, and they set off.
After a few hours of walking in the snow, they soared the old castle Dracula. It had iron gates and gargoyles on the walls and skulls in the windows. Kelly was impressed, but also a little sacred as well. What happened if the vampires were still power? They waked up to the big front door and Cracula. Sorry. Cracula just sounds like a drug-dealing vampire. Yeah. Fuck, where am I? Cracula pulled a big skeleton key from his pocket and turned the lock, and the door opened. Inside was a Castell front room and a stone stairs and a red carpet the color of blood. Or was it real blood?
Ooh. Edward will be in my throne room. Spat. Dracula. And so they walked onto the throne room to look for him.
Inside was a 10-inch boy on a massive throne made of skull and bone and blood. In his hand was a book, and it was Twilight book, what Dracula had talked about. When he saw Dracula, it's spelled properly. When he laughed he saw Dracula. He laughed evilly. So, you have returned, Dracula. Do you think you can challenge me?
I have brought friends, said Dracula with an evil smile. And Kells replied,
Yeah, we can defeat you, Edward. You aren't even a real vampire. Time for the boss fight. Alright, here we go, guys. This is chapter 5. Vampire versus vampire. The differences are subtle but distinct. But I also do not fight alone, whispered Edward mysteriously. And he pulled out the Twilight book, and put it onto an altar full of blood. He starts to chant an ancient spell, and the book filled with blood and began to rise up into the air by a magic. I call you, Stephanie Meyer, come to your servant's aid, he cried, and suddenly the room went cold, and an evil wail filled the air.
Whale spell in the traditional sense, W-H-A-L-E.
Yeah, it's classic. Bram Stoker, knew that whales were just Dracula's thing, so.
I'll be the whale.
Would you like, is it a whale or is it the voice of Stephanie Meyer?
Oh. I like to think of it as both. Stephanie Meyer in her whale form.
You're just good at playing the villains.
Oh, yeah. Edward! I am here to help you!
The ghost of a woman appeared in the room. It was the spirit of Stephanie Meyer, the writer of the Twilight book. Haha, she who created me is here now. What power do you have to stop her and me at once? Yellowed Edward, and the battle began.
Help me. Edward would pull out a sword, and so did Dracula, and they began to sword fight on the blood carpet in the room. Kells went against the evil spirit of Stephanie Maya and draw her bow and arrow and began to shot at the spirit. But the arrow was too ineffectual for
What is that word? Ineffectual. That sounds like a Shakespearean thing. Anyway. Oh no, the bow and arrow is unless I must get my father's sword. She means useless, but anyway. And so she pulled out the sword and felt the strength of Caesar run through her.
The spirity did a dark spell and shooted a spirit bolt at Kelly, but her father's shield blocked the attack. Meanwhile, Dracula.
Draculaka. I like that one. It sounds really fun.
Draculaka.
Draculaka.
Draculaka had pined Edward to the ground with his sword and was trying to kill him, but he was dodging the attack.
What does that mean?
I think he was dodging the attack. But
anyway, your pathetic writing shall not harm any more people, yellowed Kelly and slashed the bloody book of Twilight, and it burned with a red flame, and the spirit screamed in pain. No, I am the best. Oh, that's you, sorry.
No, I am the best writer in the world.
And then the spirit faded
into the sky and disappeared.
We have got you now, Edward. Stephanie Meyer cannot save you, said Kells, and she went to do final blow on him. But he turned into a bat and flew out the window. You might have won this Tim, Dracula, but next time it will be me, he shouted evilly and flew away.
Thank you for helping mentioned Dracula. Here, take this blood. Oh, blood.
Why don't you finish it up for us, Chloe? Okay.
And so she took the cup of blood and put it into Elka's saddle bag.
Yeah, sure.
Saddle bag.
Sorry, yeah, it is Kelly. I guess I should do Kelly's voice, shouldn't I? Come on, Alicus, we must go to the Cave of Skulls, said Kelly.
I will come too, said Dracula. I knew the chaser. He was a good man. I will save him with you. And so then set off for Castle of Skulls to find the ogre brain.
Wow, what a battle, seriously. Marvel Cinematic Universe, who? That's the shit right there. That was very cool. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for tonight, home listeners. But I hope you've enjoyed this extra special version of the Coronacles of Fanfic. Chloe, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. It has been unique. And that's what we're all about here. So thank you for agreeing to co-host with me.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been so much fun.
It's so much more fun because of this fucking coronavirus keeping us apart from everything and everyone we love. I got a bit maudlin there. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Those of you who did, take care, wash your hands, and I'm going to stop the recording in a second. I just got to figure out how to do it. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the next episode. Bye-bye.